This week I ran a massive PR in the 400, and that's not all. I'm training to run a sub 48 second 400, and in this week of training, we ran a big lactate workout, practiced some handoffs, and then we had the most important meet of the year so far, where I ran 3 separate PRs and had the most exciting race of my collegiate career.
It's going to be a dogfight between Bluffton and Franklin, and Simon Chalk looks great. Simon Chalk, the anchor leg.
To start out, we are jumping straight into a lactate workout on Monday. We did a 300, which we ran at 400 meter race pace, where we were focusing on keeping good form and staying relaxed all the way through the rep. After that, we had a couple of all-out 120s, but we were still pretty fatigued from our 300. The goal was, of course, to run fast, but also to try to maintain our relaxation. Russell did a great job with these, but I was struggling to keep up. I was getting pretty stiff and tight and wasn't able to bounce back from the 300 as well as he did. That was all we had for the day, and we came back on Wednesday to practice some 4x1 handoffs. We had to compete in the 4x1 in the coming meet, our outdoor conference meet, and that is why we've been practicing them so much in the last few weeks. These have 2 benefits, the first of which is just getting better at handoffs, but the second is it serves as a max speed session as well, since the handoffs have to be practiced at full speed. Unfortunately, it was really cold this day compared to what we are used to, and so it took us all forever to get warmed up, and we could still barely run fast once it was time to sprint. Oh. What is happening? Yeah, how could anyone be wearing shorts right now? That felt better than I expected. My right calf is pretty tight, but everything else is pretty decent. Yeah. Gotta get warm. I'll make it more intense by standing in your ear and screaming at you as he comes up. Get ready to go! Get ready! Russell and Dee, our first and second legs, switched to using a sound cue instead of watching a line on the track for their start because Russell was struggling to get it down. Stick. My handoffs to Des were going really well until this one. Stick. Oh. That's so sad. Our first ever drop. And last ever. Knock on wood. Moment of truth. Could have been worse. After getting in one more good one, we were done for the day. Stick. On Friday, it was time for our conference meet. Big shout out to Drew and Jack who came up to me to say hi and that they watched the videos. You guys rock, and anyone else who's come up to say hi in the past, sorry I forgot to ask for your names and that's why I didn't shout you out. I'm still not used to people recognizing me in public. This meet is split into 2 days, a prelim day and a finals day. All I had on the prelim day was the open 400, and I was pretty dang nervous going in. My stomach was hurting really badly because I got a stomach bug literally the morning of the meet. You can imagine I was not thrilled about that, but we have to adapt to our situation, and so I just pushed through it the best I could. There was only one guy in my prelim who was close to my time, and actually he was a little bit faster. I was going in with a 50.55, while I believe he had like a mid 49. My goal was to try to beat him because the top 8 guys in the conference all have pretty close times, and I was not willing to risk missing the finals by taking the prelims easy. After a big warm-up, it was go time. My plan was to get out very hard for 5 seconds and then float until the 200 meter mark, but my block start ended up being really rough, and I watched the fast guy in my heat, Tristan from Manchester, absolutely fly past me. I kept my eye on him because I knew he was my target, but he just pulled further and further away from me. My plan for the second half of the race was to push hard from 200 to 300 meters and then finish with whatever I had left, and I tried to start closing the gap as I came around the curve. I pushed as hard as I could, but my legs were feeling pretty weak. I just had to hope that we were running fast enough times that I'd make it into the finals, since only the first place finisher auto-qualifies. I actually made up some ground at the end, but if we're being honest, it's probably because Tristan let off the gas to save energy. And I ran my first PR of the weekend with a 50.29, which was a quarter-second PR. I thought I was capable of more, so I rested up for the evening and came back to start off the next day with the 4x1. Russell and I did some handoffs to practice, and they felt awesome. They felt way more relaxed and comfortable than they ever have before, and it gave me some confidence going into this race. I thought we were going to destroy our PR and school record and had a real shot at winning. Unfortunately, things don't always go as planned.
And they are off cleanly.
We lost the stagger by the first handoff, and the top two teams just kept making up ground on us as they went. Russell and I actually had a really good handoff, but my acceleration didn't feel good, and I could tell I didn't hit a good top speed as I ran around the curve. Desmond fired out extremely quickly, and we barely got the exchange done by the end of the zone, in the process falling solidly back into third place. Des is very fast, but he was racing against a guy with a 10.3800, so there was no way he was making up that gap. We ended up with a 42.98, which is the slowest we have run the whole year, on the only meet where Russell and I actually had a good handoff. A bronze medal was better than nothing, but it was not what we were hoping for, and it got me really motivated to do well for the rest of the meet. Coming up next was the Open 400 finals. I was ranked 5th going in, and my teammate Russell, I believe, was ranked 1st. My only focus was on having a good start and then pushing it between the 200 and the 300.
The men's 400-meter finals are on their marks here. They're getting ready to get in those blocks, and we will see them away. These guys, I'll be honest, these times are pretty good for a group. Every single one of these guys under 51 seconds. 3 of them under 49. It could be any one of those guys winning. Russell Lowe of Bluffton, Tristan Brana of Manchester, Andrew Shields of Rose-Hulman here in the men's 400-meter finals. One of these young men is going to be a conference champion at the end of this race. And they are off nice and easy.
I had a surprisingly decent start to the race, but it still didn't feel as good as my starts at practice, which is something I will need to figure out eventually. Tristan from Manchester already made up the stagger on all 3 guys outside of him, with Russell right on his tail, and way back in lane 2, I look like I'm all by myself in no man's land. I tried to stay calm and stick to my race plan, floating out to 200 meters and then pushing it hard around the curve. I could see the leaders out in front of me, and for a second, I felt so good that I honestly thought I would win this race. That is, until I turned the corner and got nailed in the face with a big headwind. I could tell pretty quick that I wasn't catching Russell, but I was in a battle with the guy beside me, and I fought as hard as I could to stay relaxed.
Russell Lowe separating himself here.
Russell absolutely blew away from the pack. He ran out of his mind in this race. I managed to pull ahead of the guy beside me for a 4th place finish. This race ended up being my first ever sub 5400, and it felt absolutely amazing.
48.51 for Lowe. Lowe's time is number 40 in D3 right now. So number 40 in the country.
I was also super happy for Russell once I heard what he ran. Not only was Russell 40th in the country, but he also PR'd by more than a second and broke our school record by almost half a second. Absolutely insane. Also, I broke my own PR, which I set in the prelims, by half a second for my 49.81, which I was thrilled with.
Your top 2s in this event, Bluffton and Franklin. Bluffton comes in setting at 3 minutes, 22.70. Just behind them is Franklin, 3 minutes, 22.97. So this one should be a great race.
Going into the 4x4, I was a little more nervous than usual. At indoor conference, we lost our 4x4 gold, and I was determined not to lose this one.
This should be a phenomenal race.
However, our starter Bladen has been dealing with a hamstring injury and has barely trained at all, so we didn't know if he'd even be able to finish his leg of the race.
The hard part of these races is whoever's in the lead early isn't always who's in the lead at the end. So these races are really tough. Tough to tell. Seed times help, but sometimes the team will supplant that, as it looks like we are off cleanly in the first leg. Right now, it looks like Manchester, Tristan Brana, has got a nice lead for the home team Spartans. Also, Rose Holman has come out a little bit. Rose Holman out there in lane number 6. And things are starting to come back together here. Rose Holman, Franklin, Manchester in that order. Vance Still of Rose Holman, Steve Scott of Franklin, and Tristan Brana of Manchester in that order. A kind of a bobbled handoff by Rose Holman sets them back to third. Connor Bodie of the Fighting Engineers, Luke Paddock of the Grizzlies, and Desmond Gist of Bluffton. Desmond has had a standout day. Right now, Franklin and Luke Paddock in the lead, followed by Manchester's Ryan Fox. Desmond Gist of Bluffton in third, and Rose Holman's Connor Bodie in fourth. This is a very tight race. An excellent handoff from Paddock to Eli Cochran. However, hawking him down from Bluffton, Russell Lowe. Russell, a conference champion earlier today, has overtaken Franklin and Eli Cochran. This is a very fast leg here in leg number 3 for Russell Lowe, and Eli Cochran on his heels. A fight for third and fourth between Gavin Byerly of Manchester and Rose Holman's Jacob Eve. Eli Cochran falls to second as Russell Lowe stays in third. A good handoff for both. It's going to be a dogfight between Bluffton and Franklin. Simon Schock of the Bluffton Tigers and Logan McIntosh of the Franklin Grizzlies way out in front. Simon Schock of Bluffton. He's extending the lead. We'll see if he has enough gas at the end. And let's see if Logan McIntosh can run him down. I'm not sure there's enough time or track left for Logan McIntosh of Franklin. And Simon Schock looks great. Simon Schock, the anchor leg. Rose Holman's Andrew Shields trying to get second here. He will not. They will finish Bluffton 1, Franklin 2, Rose Holman 3. A time of 3 minutes, 20.63 seconds for Bluffton. 3 minutes, 23.4 seconds for Franklin, and Rose Holman 3:23.86. What an exciting race by these gentlemen. The team of Bladen McCoy, Desmond Gist, Russell Lowe, and Simon Schock. Lowe and Schock running phenomenal legs for Bluffton. Really blew that race wide open. Russell Lowe went around, took the lead, and never relinquished. Simon Schock just keeping the door slammed shut. I'm sure those were the two fastest legs for that team by far, and maybe the two fastest legs of the entire race. All right, we're going to send it down to Denny Staten and the Bluffton Tigers.
I'm here with Simon Schock of the Bluffton Tigers, right?
Bluffton Beavers.
Beavers, sorry.
You're good.
Blues and Bluffton Beavers. How was that finish right there?
You know, it hurt like crazy. My team was lying to me. They were like, they're going to catch you. You got to go. So, obviously, I gave it everything I had, and we came out with a victory today.
Looked like a really good leg. He was out.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah.
What's coming next?
We're going to Last Chance at Baldwin Wallace, so hopefully we can crank out some good times and maybe make it to nationals this year.
Every time I watch this race back, my heart pounds out of my chest. We managed to come back from last place, and even though Desmond, Russell, and I were very tired going in, we managed to run a 2-second relay PR for the year and come away with a huge victory, and I also split a 48.5, which is a second faster than I've ever split in my life. This race was awesome, and I'm so proud of my teammates and excited to go compete for a chance at nationals. I'm going to combine the rest of our year into one big video, so you won't see anything from me for a week or two, but once you see the next video drop, it should be, hopefully, a really exciting one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.